All right, today we revisit one of Nigeria's most heartbreaking stories, the case of Ochanya Ogbanje, the 13-year-old who suffered years of abuse and lost her life seeking justice. Years later, the call for hashtag Justice for Ochanya is trending again. And it's not just about one child, but about every young girl failed by our system. Joining me are two passionate advocates, Precious Oruche, a human rights advocate, and Ene Oteikwu, an advocate for the girl child and justice reform. Together, we'll ask the hard questions. Why does justice come so late? And how do we make Nigeria safe for its children? Welcome to J on Air. Now, for those that don't know so much about this story, I'm surprised if you don't know so much about this story because it has been trending and you should know. This is a story that we've been talking about since 2018. It's a tragic story of a 7-year-old Ochanya Elizabeth Ogbanje who was sent from her village to live with her aunt. Now, the aunt's husband, Andrew Ogbuja, a lecturer in Makurdi, Benue State, was the one that perpetrated this abuse on her and also his son. This happened from when she was 8 years old to when she was 13 and passed on. Now, the prolonged abuse led to severe medical complications, including vaginal fistula, a condition causing uncontrollable leakage of urine. Now, Ochanya's aunt reportedly hid test results and failed to get her proper medical care. In 2018, she passed on at 13. Now, if you look back, there were a lot of, entertainers, celebrities, public figures that got involved, ensuring that she got justice, but somehow she didn't get justice, and we're revisiting this case in 2025. Now, in 2022, a Benue State High Court acquitted Mr. Andrew of all rape and homicide charges due to lack of conclusive evidence. Felicia, his wife, was convicted of negligence for failure to protect the child, and she was sentenced to just 5 months. Now, the good news now is that in recent development, the Benue State High Court announced that the case has been reopened with new evidence and witnesses. So we're going to go straight to talk to our guests on the show. Well, the first question that I want to ask you is, the name Ochanya keeps returning to national consciousness. Now, for you, what does her story represent beyond the headline and that hashtag? Because, it's easy to throw a hashtag out there, but what does this truly mean, and what should it mean to the average Nigerian out there?
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Jay. It's nice to be here. Talking about Ochanya is something that I have unfortunately tried my best to become strong for, because each time I talk about her case, I feel like crying. But I've now tried my best to tackle that. So please, in case I cry because of this, I'm so sorry. You see, Ochanya's case means a lot to me because in the work that I do, I have seen so many girls, so many young girls who suffered Ochanya's fate, so to say. Some worse, some less, but all of the same gravity. And this points to a larger issue, which is that there is no protection for the girl child in our society. And a society that does not protect its own young, a society that eats its young, that allows for this kind of evil to just happen and be let go of, is quite disturbing, to say the least. And for the average Nigerian out there, I think we should all try to personalize Ochanya's experience and her family's grief. Because I find that a lot of us can be very easily apathetic towards these things, because so many bad things go on in Nigeria at the same time. Like, so much happens at the same time. So it's normal, or rather it's understandable for people to be like, how many things can I focus on at the same time? How much can I do? How much can I say? But I want you to know that each of these issues affect us directly. Ochanya could have been you, could have been me, could have been your sister, could have been your sister's child. All this young girl, this young child's mistake was trusting her aunt, her mother's sister. So that's the angle I want you to view it from. This was done to her by her own family. We must make it our responsibility to always ensure that we are protective of children in our society, especially the girl child who is heavily marginalized and constantly abused and brutalized in society.
One thing that, a question people are asking is that, she was sent there because of education. She was sent there because there were no proper schools in her village. And so they sent her there. The parents were still actually sending money to the family there for upkeep. So can you break that down for us? Because people are also saying that if the government, because everybody, has a role to play here, if there were actual schools in that girl's village, she would have remained with her family. Do you think that is a part that we should be talking about in this conversation?
So I honestly have a bit of a controversial opinion here. And I think, first of all, it is important to call out the government on every face, on every point that they let us down. It is important for us to be able to speak on the failures of the state, right? To say, government should have provided better schools. But another thing is, when you come out and you look at this Ochanya's case from another perspective, I don't even think school would have saved her from this situation. These people are her family. They would meet at family events. They would meet at burial. They would meet at weddings. Random holidays. Victor Obuja could travel from, wherever he is and try to spend time at the Ochanya's house and have something to do where you people are. But I don't have it to stay. So I feel like these people, this issue is just while there could be things that could have been done to prevent it, I feel like we are over-emphasizing and kind of over-fixating on what could have been instead of what actually is. Because the truth is, Ochanya could have been in school and a teacher would have done this to her under her parents' rule. That's the reality of Nigeria. This is a very, very widespread issue that we need to tackle from the basis, from the root. The problem is abusers, period. Abusers don't need, they create the opportunity to abuse. They don't need it provided to them. And I think another reason I'm not very hell-bent on this if the government had provided better schools for Ochanya is because the slope is a very slippery slope. Sorry, please.
It's all right.
So from there to, maybe her parents did not care enough. If they had cared enough, they would have left her. It's very close to victim blaming. Like, you can see Nigerians don't know where to stop. That's something else I've learned about us. You don't know where to stop. So I have decided to just remove that from the equation entirely and focus on the fact that we have a pedophilia problem. And then we should tackle that problem first.
So you're saying that we should move conversations from what could have been and focus on the abusers, not whether it was education, not whether it was this, or not whether it was that. No, we should always focus on the abusers in any situation.
That's exactly what I think, yes.
All right, we're hoping that Precious joins us shortly so that we can also get her thoughts on this conversation. But we're talking to Ene here, who is a fierce advocate for the girl child. And thank you again for the work that you're doing in ensuring that this is a story that is not forgotten. But more than that, that young girls and young boys out there that are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing actually know that justice can be served. Now, speaking of justice, this case has dragged on for so many years. And the thing is that it keeps resurfacing every other year. But this year just really made it really loud around this time. And so the question that a lot of people are asking is that there's a lot of weakness when it comes to the justice system that we have in Nigeria. A lot of times on this show, we've had lawyers come in here and they've said, go to court, you can pursue this. But one thing that people say, whether they call into the show or via feedback on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, people say they do not believe that going to the courts can actually fetch you justice in Nigeria. In fact, people have made TikTok videos saying that as long as it's dependent on the justice system, they do not think that she would get justice. What do you say to that when people have lost all hope, in the Nigerian justice system?
It would be unfair to people. It would be unfair to society for me to come out and say, I don't understand why you people are behaving this way. Because I do understand it. And it is the thing I'm saying about losing hope. Like you've seen the society. Some of us have lived in this society for 30, 40 years. Yeah. Some of us 20, some of us 25. We've seen in real time how every time something happens that has to involve the justice system, there is always some sort of manipulation. So I totally understand it. However, I do not excuse it because I genuinely feel like it is our responsibility as a society to continuously hold accountable these people. I genuinely feel that if we step out and we speak up more often, these people will grow so uncomfortable that they have to do their work. If we make them uncomfortable enough to not thrive in mediocrity, like we remove the room for them to thrive in being mediocre, and then we go on TikTok and say things like, but I don't really believe in this government. I beg, I don't even know. I beg. I genuinely feel like something will change. But then there is a general lackadaisical attitude in which the average Nigerian approaches issues with. It's always, we've seen it happen time and time again. One thing kind of sets precedence for the other. And I want us to try to believe that no matter how far gone a situation may seem, it is still something that we can pull out of. So I do not like when we make hopeless statements. I cannot say I do not understand it. I do. But at the same time, I've never been a fan of it.
Okay. Do you think it's fair that some people were actually displaying pictures of the judge rather, that gave the verdict that actually acquitted, Andrew, from this particular case? Do you think it is fair that people actually putting pictures of him out there and saying that his verdict was, not right? Also because the reason he gave his verdict and discharged Andrew from this charge is because he said that, the police did not do their due diligence, or a lot of the facts, a lot of what was supposed to be met were not met. And so he cannot give a judgment just based on emotions and feelings. Do you think it's fair that, people should be able to call that judge out in this particular case? Or do you think he was just doing his job?
Firstly, this is a democracy we live in. It may not seem like it, but on paper, we are living in a democracy. And in a democracy, anybody who serves the public should be open to scrutiny from the public that they serve. Right? And if this judge comes out and says, hey, look, at this time, I feel like the police didn't give me enough evidence to work with, but simultaneously, you charged the woman with negligence. So negligence for what? I feel like the onus was on the judge to sanction the police, even be like, hey, something is wrong with this case. Kind of escalate it. You don't just say, oh, okay, this is not really giving. Bam. All right, guys, Kota John, you do 5 months. You people can go. Somebody died. A child died. She had interviews before she died. You cannot tell me this judge did not see these interviews. She confessed it with her own mouth that this thing happened to her. I feel like if this judge actually knew his job, he would have escalated this issue further than, I really don't have much to work with here, so you guys can go home. Kill the next person you like. This is a democracy. And it may not seem like it, but it is. And we are allowed in a democracy to question the people who we have put in government to represent us at every level. So I don't think they have the right to call him out. If they want to go to his house and protest in front of his house, that's fine. I will draw the line at them being directly violent towards him. But I feel it is okay to demand answers. It's okay to ask questions. What exactly was your reason for discharging this case and saying there wasn't enough evidence, but still charging someone else with negligence?
All right, let's bring our second guest in here, Precious Mama P. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm trying to set this thing up. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can see you very well. I can see the red scarf, so I'm sure that it is you. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to draw you into this conversation. So I'm going to go back to the question. When you look at how this case was handled, from the police to prosecution to social welfare, where exactly did the system fail first? We want to count the failures that led to this child, getting abused and also losing her life in this process.
Every institution that was meant to protect Ochanya failed her. The family institution, the police, even the educational sector, her teachers in school, how nonchalant were they that they did not notice that a child was being abused? How nonchalant were they that they did not notice her walking step? They didn't see that something was wrong. How were they so nonchalant that they did not notice that this girl was retrieved? Because most of these children that are being abused, you see them always isolated. How nonchalant? Do you understand? I think every institution, both the family, how long did you leave your child with your sister? You didn't go to visit her? Why were you not her safe space? Why was she so scared to speak out? She didn't speak out on time. That's why probably that girl lost her life. So I think every institution, we can't pin it on when. From the start, something went wrong. So I think every institution that was meant to protect that young lad failed her. Even the police. How is our prosecutor providing 2 autopsy reports? Please, permit me to think they were bought. They never wanted justice for Ochanya. Even the judiciary, the long postponement of the case. If you read the records, if you watch the videos, you will see that even witnesses at some points did not have money, transport to go to court and bear witness. It was delayed. Everything failed out. Even the government that was meant to, demand for justice, appeal the court case. Failed Ochanya, they never appealed the case.
Yeah.
In fact, the government started this failure because if there was school, just one school, in the full community of that girl, she would not need to go to town to go to school. Are you aware that there are children as little as 12 years, 15 years that are staying alone in town just so they can attend schools? Are you aware? As I'm speaking to you currently, that school in Ochanya's village is still not functional. So Ochanya is still out there. So it's not at one point. At what point did they fail Ochanya? They failed Ochanya from the day she was born. And with this thing, we should start thinking beyond Ochanya. There are a lot of Ochanya out there. Many, very many. As I'm talking to you, it's happening to another child. So please, I don't think that question, just rephrase the question.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. The next thing I'm going to ask you is if we could redesign, or if you could redesign how Nigeria responds to sexual abuse, from reporting to conviction, what would that change, or what would that look like? Because, apart from this Ochanya's case, and apart from cases that involve just children, a lot of complaints that we've gotten from victims of sexual abuse or survivors is that the process is gruesome. Now, we know that the process is gruesome in any part of the world, but it's extra gruesome here in Nigeria. That it's difficult to report a case, it's difficult to actually have the police follow up on a case, and it's difficult for it to even go to court. People have said that, some of these cases drag for years in the court, and these people that are perpetrators actually are able to go scot-free or are able to live their lives for years while actually having a case in court, and the victim is dealing with so much trauma. So if you could redesign how Nigeria responds to sexual abuse, and not just even the system, but also the people, the regular people out there, how we also respond to when we hear stories like this, what would that look like to you? And I'm asking both of you, so I'm thinking Precious can go on, and then Ene can also speak on this as well.
If I could redesign it,
yes,
set up agencies in place, rapid response team to attend to these victims. This has become a menace, a cancer in our society. These rapists need to be treated as real criminals. They are actual criminals. They should be treated like kidnappers and terrorists. They should be treated like kidnappers and terrorists. I don't know if you can hear me over there.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So rapid response team to attend to these people. If I was the one, I would set up agencies that will attend to them ASAP. Police on standby, because these things are happening daily. And it is this so-called bureaucracy that kills the case. You go to the police, you that is being raped, the poor man's child that don't have money to buy case file. You don't have money to buy case file. Where are you now going to see money to mobilize the police to go and arrest the person? Where are you going to see money to get a judge, to get a lawyer? They don't have medical support. They don't have legal support. They don't have even counseling. They don't have access to counseling. These victims are left with their fates. So if you set up an agency that takes care of these needs, someone is there to provide them legal support. Don't worry about your court case. Just come and tell us what happened. The victim will have the confidence to come out and speak. Don't worry about your the person who did it. You are not going back to that house. There are shelters to take care of these victims. They will come out and speak. When they see that, oh, this girl that is doing well, that I look up to, is a rape victim. Oh, these people helped her to stand on her feet. They would want to speak up. But when the victims are met with stigma, silence becomes the culture. If I was the one, I was to redesign the pattern, I would set up a team. Every government at this point in time, because of Ochanya, should take this as a point of duty. Set up a good team, a rapid response team that will save these children and take care of them. Provide them the medical support, the legal support, everything they need to, survive the trauma. Because trust me, Jay, the trauma is not easy.
Yeah.
The trauma is not funny. Most of them don't sleep at night. Most of them, if you bang your door too hard, they get shocked, they get scared.
Yeah.
Most of them, when you wake them in the morning, they don't see you, they see shadows. They are suffering. A lot of broken marriages today come from abused children. You don't know. But at some point, they just detest the man, not the man. Not the man who told me where to make my life more stable, not the man. There's this unset anger and pain. And family also contributes to it. When the dad is now willing to go any length, the family says you want to bring shame. Those family members now we arrest them. If you're a family member and you think you can cover the rapist because you want to cover your family's shame, those family members should be arrested. I feel like justice should be more than laws. Should come with empathy. Like, laws that are humans. I saw when the other lady was talking about the judge. Why would they not go see the judge? It was help me understand the law that discharged and acquitted a man because there was not enough evidence. So the video of the girl meant nothing. Her interview, let's assume she did that recording and hid somewhere. And 12 years later, the recording came outside from nowhere. And this case had already been ruled on. So they will not revisit it. Let's just assume. Let's assume. So it will not mean anything. Nigeria is a shithole country. So if I was the one, I've always said it, they should not vote me into power. You see, there are many reasons why wicked Nigerians should not, if they see me contest, they should run away. Because you see these people, they will be treated worse than terrorists. Yes.
All right, let's bring Ene in here, and let's thank you so much for that. Let me bring Ene in here. And I don't know if you heard the question when I asked, but I was asking if you could redesign how Nigeria and Nigerians respond to abuse from reporting to conviction, and also the regular Nigerians out there, family members, friends, teachers in school. What would you do differently, or how would you redesign what that should look like? That's what I asked Precious, and that's what I'm asking you now. If you can hear me.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so this is a very interesting question for me, but then my answer is bothersome because I do believe there is a problem with the way we approach things because of the prevalence of purity culture that is emboldened by religion in our society. If I were to redesign this structure, the first thing I would do is take purity culture out of the equation. We'll do proper sex education. And when I say proper sex education, we're not talking, when you sleep with a man, you will get pregnant, your life will be over. We're talking real life consequences, actions and consequences. And aside that, I also feel like we need to put stricter laws around abuse, especially abuse that centers children, right? We have to put stricter laws, put them in place, put what do they call it? Do better or reformed information in churches and mosques, places essentially where people try to get their lives, the rules or the guide that they live life by from. So I would say we need to do like a complete overhaul, a complete reorientation. We need to speak to churches, we need to speak to imams, we need to speak to community leaders, we need to speak to villages, hold certain conferences even, so to say. So I feel the first place to even start is by tackling purity culture as a theme. Because purity culture is what silences victims, is what puts you in the corner where you are like, oh my God, what has me? I have now become a victim, and I'm sure being a victim reduces my worth. And we must tackle that.
All right. Thank you so much, Ene. Thanks so much. And I'll be asking the last set of questions as we have to wrap this up. But, a lot of people are also asking for advocates, they're asking for influencers and the media to play a role in all of this. I don't know if Precious can still hear me. They're asking, advocates, they're asking influencers, they're asking everybody that people need to play a role in all of this. What would you say to that? Do you think it is important for the media? Do you think it's important for influencers, celebrities alike, to actually get involved in this conversation?
I do think yes. Because celebrities, influencers, at the end of the day, we are all common Nigerians. My vote is just as important as the next person's. And because my vote is just as important as the next person, I have to realize that my future also lies in the hands of the next person. And as such, we must put the onus on every member of society to ensure that society operates in the way that it's supposed to, especially a democratic society. I am emphasizing that we are a democracy again because I see that a lot of us are beginning to forget that. We have now carried this culture of always respect your elders, always be timid, always be quiet, and we have injected it into our constitutional and societal laws. And we're now seeing the effect in real time on the society. So I do think, yes, it's important for everybody with a platform to speak up on injustice. No matter the part or the party or your political affiliation, injustice is injustice, and it may be you too. In fact, even if it is not you, speak up on injustice. It is your obligation as a member of society, as a respectable and responsible member of society.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you so much, for being on the show. We appreciate your thoughts, and we hope that we can keep having these conversations, and we hope that you keep doing the work, keep fighting, and we hope that results also happen. So thank you so much for being on Journey.
Thank you for having me.
Of course,
Thank you. Bye.
Of course, bye. All right, so if you want to call in, we were going to open the phone lines. I have a final question for Precious. Precious, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so the question I asked Ene was really about people saying the media and influencers and celebrities have to also get involved in conversations like this. Now, this is also what people were saying during the elections. This is what happened when people were saying during the elections. That you cannot just be a celebrity and influencer and not join your voice to what is happening in society. Do you think this is also one of these cases where everybody has to come out of their caves, come out of their holes, and actually join their voice? Not just for Ochanya, but for every little girl, every little boy. I heard a story yesterday as well of a boy in this case that was sexually abused, by his own father, actually, abused by his own father. But this case, went to court, but because of poverty, somebody got paid, and somehow witnesses that were supposed to, speak about this in court, because of money, did not speak again. So we're seeing this happening back to back to back. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yes, we're asking for justice for Ochanya, but we're asking for justice for so many people that this has happened to, and this might still happen to if we don't put things in place. So do you think we should get celebrities, influencers to join voices with the advocates like yourself that are already doing the work and speaking about, this case?
Talking about the boy whose father raped him, Do you know how many cases are in courts? That is why they say the judiciary is a mess. Swift response for cases like this. One of the reforms I think they should consider. A man that has been sleeping with his 2 daughters, his 2 children, not even those ones that have not gotten to daughters, they are still kids.
Babies.
The wife has been covering up, like trying to manage the situation. At some point, she got tired that she's no longer interested in the marriage, that she's leaving. Do you know why they are in court?
Right.
Not because she got tired, though. The family said don't embarrass the family. So just live peacefully. Do you know why they are in court? They are in court because the man is suing for custody.
Jesus.
The man is suing for custody of the kids. There are multiple cases in court. There's a popular doctor in United States. They are that young girls to his house to cook for him. And when they are done, he has a gun. He threatens them, strip them naked and rape them. And now when they refuse to come back from whatever, maybe they don't report or they don't come back or something, he blackmails them because he takes pictures of them. It's not just the girls that he threatens. There are also some girls that he will lure and promise them good life. And maybe after the first time they don't want to go back, they see that this man is just carcass. He takes pictures of them and blackmails them. This man is in court suing the girl who dares to speak out for defamation. You see, and then the judge will be postponing, and the poor girl will not have money to be carrying lawyer, and before she will go and apologize, and maybe the crime continues. So media is doing a lot, because now when you cry out, the media stands behind you. That's why we need influencers, advocates to add their voice. It's not about ego, now it's about empathy. We need everybody to add their voice. The media pushes the government to do the right thing. The media that breaks the culture of silence. We need everybody to add their voice. There's only one problem I have with the media, and it's the fact that they go cold just after some days.
Yeah.
They know how to be distracted. But I know that this generation will fix that nonsense. We need to stay on a course and stand on business till justice is served. So, for that question you asked, my brother, we need media. We need everybody. It is a duty call. And not that you are a patron, you are a human, you are a good person. It's only natural that you lend your voice to cases like this. Because take it or leave it, you see rape, GBV, gender-based violence has become a cancer in our society.
All right, so to wrap up this conversation,
Whoever is out there listening, I beg you with God and Ogun, try to get that. Please, whatever you serve, add your voices. There are a lot of people out there that need and deserve justice. There are a lot of Ochanyas out there. Please add your voices so that these people get justice. At least through media outrage and others, we are seeing lawyers ready to take up cases pro bono.
Yeah, for free. Yes.
Barrister Ene is now taking up Ochanya's case pro bono. Would we have been able to afford him if not for media agitation and multiple tagging? No. So media does a lot of advantage, and please, and we advise and beg and plead that it continues. Tag them, repost, disturb their luxury timelines.
I think the final question I'm going to ask you as we wrap this up is that what do you say? Because a lot of the time we're talking about all these cases, but sometimes we're not talking to the victims, to the girl that is passing through this or has passed through this, to the grown woman that is still dealing with the trauma of what she went through. So if you could speak to that girl, that has passed through this or is passing through this, or to that woman that has dealt with this, that is dealing with the trauma on the gender-based violence, on rape and all of this, what would you say? What would you say speaking to them? Because like I said before, we're saying so many things. Sometimes we forget that these people actually need words spoken to them. What would you say to that girl? What would you say to that woman? What do you say to that man, that person?
This one is for me.
Yes, for you.
Okay. I'll say, my dear, my sister, if you're out there, you're watching me, you've been abused one way or another, mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally, stay strong. You have a whole team of soldiers behind you. This generation is behind you. There's no longer room to be isolated. There's no longer room to be depressed. You have media. As long as you can hear me, that means you can speak. Speak out. Don't be ashamed. Do not be ashamed. Listen, let me tell you the truth. The moment you speak out, the stigma leaves you and impinges on your perpetrator, your abuser. Listen to that again. I want you to take this home. If you're an abused person that is dying in silence, that is ashamed of coming out to speak, listen to me. The moment you speak out, you choose to speak out, the stigma leaves you and rests on the shoulders of your abuser. So when you are done carrying it, when you are tired carrying that body, remember that you have the option of passing it to the person who gave it to you. Please, I beg you again and again, look for someone you can talk to. Look for someone you can confide in. Be you a wife, be you a sister, be you a child, look for somebody you can talk to and talk to that person. There is no worth dying for. Some persons have resorted to suicide. There's so many cases, Jay. I wish I could start saying. Some persons have resorted to suicide because of the burden and pain of abuse. I'm begging you, if you are watching me, please find strength in this video today and speak out. Trust me, you will get help. Just tag me. Tag anybody that you see as an advocate. In this generation, you will get help. Help is the easiest thing to get. Thank God God made it so. So please, let this be your sign to speak out or stand strong.
Thank you so much to Precious Oruche. Mama P, thank you so much. We appreciate the work that you do. We hope you get the strength to keep on doing the work that you're doing. And, we hope that, more than the work that you do, people actually get justice, from the speakings, from the protests, from all of this. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
So, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel empty. I feel better. There's just so much piled up inside.
Yeah.
But before I came on the show, I just feel so. Thanks for letting me speak.
I'm glad. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. And, I wanted to take phone calls before, but this is where we're going to put a pin on it. We hope that this conversation keeps happening. Hashtag justice for Ochanya.
I mean, we heard it from our guests today. Everybody has a role to play. Parents have a role to play. Teachers have a role to play. Government has a role to play. They all call the ante. You cannot turn a blind eye to these things happening, especially to our children. These cases, we see them on our dailies. It's such a sad situation. And you cannot just say, it doesn't concern me. It concerns every single one of us. So please support in any way that you can. We have GNM Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here on 88.5 UFM from 6 p.m. and also on YouTube the next day at exactly 6 p.m. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. And remember that, justice doesn't just happen. We have to fight for justice. Bye for now.